we'll tell you a story about 3 broody hens. Pearl, the silky bantam, Olive, the welsummer, and Lilac, the partridge cochin. These 3 hens all went broody around the same time, but they each have a unique story to share. Pearl the Silky proved to be a great egg sitter and a great mama hen to her chicks. She attempted to hatch her own eggs, but it just didn't work out that way, as you'll later see. Lilac, the partridge cochin, went broody next. She also was a great egg sitter and later proved to be a wonderful mama hen to her chicks. But she couldn't manage to hatch her own eggs because of Olive the welsummer. Olive and Lilac's journeys are closely intertwined, since Olive's broodiness began with trying to steal Lilac's eggs, except Olive was a downright terrible egg sitter who broke her eggs and every other hen's eggs too. She also proved to be a poor mama hen who tried to hurt her baby chicks. Watch to see how we broke Olive of her broodiness.
A broody hen is one who is committed to sitting in a nesting box, usually on eggs, but sometimes there's no eggs and she's just sitting as if she were trying to hatch a clutch of eggs. And this can occur with a chicken who is laying fertilized eggs or unfertilized eggs. It can happen without the presence of a rooster.
Broody hens have other behavior quirks as well. Oftentimes, a broody hen isn't earning her keep as an egg layer. And listen to Lilac as she makes this constant rhythmic clucking noise. Broody hens have a puffed up appearance and keep their feathers fluffed out and on end so they look nearly double their size. They keep their wings flexed out and their body flattened against the nest. It's normal for a broody hen to pluck out all of their belly feathers so that they can help keep their little babies warm. Now that you know a little bit about broody hens, let's tell Pearl's story.
Here she is, lovely Miss Pearl. She's not even a year old yet. And instead of setting silky eggs under her, since I love silkies and they're adorable, I don't really find them to be a very useful breed on our hobby farm. We primarily raise our chickens for their meat and their eggs, and silkies are more of an ornamental type, and she's quite lovely. But I'm going to go ahead and set an Easter egg under her, and here it is right here. Mama's outside about 6:30 in the morning, taking a break, getting some breakfast. While she's out here, I'm going to go ahead and candle her egg and see if it actually is working out. It is normal for them to leave the egg for short periods of time because the internal temperature of the egg is what you're most concerned about. It's pretty dark in this corner. I think we'll be able to do just fine with it right here. So let's give it a try. So right away I can see that prominent air sac. I can see the some veins there. It's looking pretty good right now. Now I'm going to assume that that dark spot is the baby, so I'll wait a moment and see if I can see it moving. I don't see it moving, but the fact that it has all these veins is definitely a good sign that it is indeed growing.
The next day, Pearl's egg vanished. It was in the box that morning when I collected all the other eggs. I went out into the coop that afternoon to refill the waterer, and when I checked on Pearl's egg, it was gone. No broken shells, no mess. I suspect a snake came through and swallowed it up while Pearl had left it to have a bite to eat, and it was the only egg in the coop. Luckily, I was already incubating eggs, so a few days later, Pearl was gifted the first chick that hatched, an olive egger chick.
Is she silky?
No, she's an olive egger. Okay, put her with her mama. She's saying, I want my mama.
Oh, she's so cute. She's gonna love her new friends.
Watch her go.
A broody hen may be great at sitting on eggs, like Pearl here, but may not turn out to be a good mama hen once her chicks arrive. But you can see that Pearl instantly accepts this little chick, and this little chick instantly bonded with Pearl as well. Gifting a broody hen a hatchling to raise as her own is typically how we respond to broody hens on our hobby farm. For the best success doing this, we usually slip a hatchling underneath a broody hen at nighttime after all the chickens are roosting for the night. We took a chance with Pearl and placed this olive egger hatchling with her in the afternoon just to see how she may react. Silky hens are typically very trustworthy with chicks, as Pearl is demonstrating. With both hen and chick happily bedded down for the night, we left them alone for the second compatibility test of leaving them alone for the whole night. The next morning, Pearl and her chick were doing well. It's normal for newly hatched chicks to stay with their mama hen in the nesting box for up to 3 days after hatching, so we gave these two loves privacy to bond.
You're taking your baby outside? Already?
Chicks raised by hens help to remind us that chickens lived healthy lives long before there were feed stores and specialty chick foods and accessories. A mama hen will lead her chicks out of the nesting box about 3 days after they hatch. She'll encourage them to scratch for food by making a tuck-tucking sound. Chicks will typically stay with their mama hen for about 5 to 6 weeks. But all chicks are born with instincts that allow them to grow up well without a hen present. You may have noticed this independent flock of chicks who were hatched by incubator and placed in the main coop. Chicks are much more cold tolerant than online sources would have you believe. It was only 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius when I was filming this segment. Our olive egger chick enjoyed the crisp outside weather for over an hour before it started shivering and peeping from cold. Mama hen knows just how to keep her little ones warm and dry. She'll flex her wings and plump herself down to create a cozy shelter for her little one. No heat lamp or heat plate needed here. Pearl will take a break to warm up her little dear. And then they're both back to foraging. We always have mixed flocks here on our hobby farm and watch vigilantly for signs of bullying or aggression. Always take care to introduce new birds at any age with supervision, since not all chickens are as docile and welcoming to newcomers. Pearl proved to be such a great mama hen that we gifted her more of the chicks that hatched from that incubation project, now about a week old.
So she has 7 little babies that she's taking care of.
In the past, we've successfully placed chicks as old as 2 weeks with a broody hen to raise as her own. I ended up rehoming 3 of the 7 chicks to coops of some fellow chicken enthusiasts, so Pearl ended up as a mama hen to 4 Easter egger and olive egger cross chicks. Well, it is a blustery and rainy day out today, so I'm going to go ahead and do this little update. And so, for the most part, we have 3 very different broody hens. We have our original broody hen, which was Miss Pearl, the silky, and at this point her duties of a mother hen are finished. Her babies have been very independent from her, so I think they're right outside the door. Even though she's a silky, she does go outside in the rain, and she just gets soaked, and then luckily it's warm enough out that she doesn't seem to be getting sick or anything. But here we go. Here's her babies. They still kind of trail around her, but for the most part, they're very independent. They'll even leave the coop before her in the morning. And so she's our finished broody hen, I would call her. She's a mama who will soon go back to laying, and the chicks will go on and live their own independent lives. And then in the chicken coop, we have those 2 broody hens. So here we have a broody hen on top of another broody hen.
And in the 8 years that we've been raising backyard chickens, we've actually never come across a situation quite like this, where we have a dedicated broody hen, and then we have another broody hen who insists on stealing the eggs and the nesting box of the previously broody hen. So in the front here, we have our well summer, and then behind her, we have our partridge cochin. But Olive is quite the troublemaker. She's the type of broody hen where she does not just stay in one box peacefully sitting and raising some eggs. Instead, she will seek out any egg in any nesting box that she finds and try to take them. And then after she takes them, though, she rolls them onto the ground, and we end up with quite a bit of wasted, smashed eggs. So I have a plan for Olive. Here we have the space that I'm going to move one of the two girls into. So here she is. She's a little unhappy with me taking her away from her nesting box. And she currently didn't have any eggs under her. So first thing I'm going to do after I put her in is set some eggs under her or kind of beside her. And I'll see if she takes the eggs. And that's a good sign that she's ready to sit down and be broody in this new space. The eggs in the front are the eggs that I'm going to try with the well summer that I placed inside the separate broody cage. And then on the other side, I have some blue and green eggs that I'll be placing under the partridge cochin. So you might notice that there are big letter B's on the blue and green eggs, and that's to mark them as broody eggs or broody hen eggs. And the reason why I did that for the partridge cochin is because since she's in the main coop and she's sharing the coop with 14 other laying hens, they do tend to want to lay in the same place even if there's a hen already in that box. I want to be sure I'm collecting the eggs that we're not hatching every single day and keeping the eggs for just the partridge cochin inside the box. So first I'll go ahead and give the well summer the eggs and see if she accepts them. And no dice. She is right back pushing her way in with the broody partridge cochin. So I'm going to try plan B, which was putting the partridge cochin in the separate laying space. And look at that. That's magic. So she is sitting right on top of those blue and green eggs. And here is that well summer Olive back in the nesting boxes inside the main coop. And I did place those day-old or less than just a few hour-old brown eggs under her. I'm gonna check up on her and see if she's able to stay in the same place on top of them, not wreck them. And if she does, I'll go ahead and mark those eggs as well before the end of the day. So now it's been a week since we rearranged the nesting of our two broody hens. So here's our Miss Olive that hasn't moved off of her 4 eggs. And our Miss Lilac, our partridge cochin, who's very happy in this space. So it's all working out so far. The next up, we will candle those eggs and see how they're developing.
First, I tried candling the 3 eggs Olive the well summer was sitting on, but unfortunately all 3 of her eggs were not growing. Next, I tried candling the 5 eggs that Lilac the partridge cochin was sitting on, and none of her eggs were developing either. I was really surprised. Having learned this, it was time to hatch a new plan. A broody hen's health will suffer some from the prolonged sitting and reduced intake of food and water. Therefore, I didn't want to place new eggs underneath my broody hens and start another 21-day-long hatching cycle. Instead, I considered a request from one of my subscribers.
A few months ago, one of our subscribers left a comment where they were hoping to see us cross a Jersey Giant with one of our Silkies, to which I replied, I can't do that because I don't have Jersey Giants. But of course, if you own chickens at home, then you know chickens are very much addictive. So thank you so much to that subscriber for helping us contribute to adding to our chicken math.
I waited until evening to attempt placing these chicks underneath my broody hens.
So I did make some changes last night before I had them bed down for the night. The well summer was still not really taking to the chicks as much as I would have hoped. And she was fine when the chicks were underneath her. She had no reaction almost. And then as soon as any of the chicks moved towards the front of her, she wasn't really pecking them, but she wasn't pushing them under her either. It really was not a friendly motion towards the babies, and I didn't want to take the chance of her hurting them during the night. So I decided to move all of the 6 chicks into the space with Lilac, the partridge cochin, because she was doing fabulous with the chicks the whole time. The other change I made since after I removed the chicks from the well summer from Olive, she ended up turning to her old habits of trying to push into Lilac's box, and of course now Lilac had the 6 chicks with her, so it was even more consequential. So I reversed that setup and I put the partridge cochin and all of her chicks into the separate space.
Hi, Lilac. Can I see your babies?
Oh, 1, 2. Three, 4. You should have 6. Where's 6? 4. And there's still quite a bit roosting up there, getting a late start. And then here's our well summer. She's still clucking away, acting broody and being a nesting box boss.
So we ended up giving 2 of the chicks away to a friend who has a broody hen. So now we have 4 chicks. Here's 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? 1, 2, 3. Back there. Where's your 4th baby? Three. There you are. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we're all here.
Yep, so she's doing really, really well, and I'm just going to make sure that she transitions into caring for the chicks outside of this little space, which they do naturally. And then we have our 3rd broody hen, Olive, our well summer, and she is still brooding. And I took her out this morning and I plopped her off a ways from the coop in the rain and gave her some food and tried to encourage her to break this broody habit. And she is stuck being broody. It's not good for a chicken's health to be broody for no reason, because what she's doing is she's sitting on an empty nest. There's no eggs in here right now. And she is not eating or not drinking, and then she's gathering up a bunch of bile in her body. It's not really ideal for them to be sitting on nothing. So I'm gonna try to break her broody habit. So I'll show you what I have gathered up, and then we'll see if it works for her. I have a ice pack, and it is frozen solid. And then I also just have a cloth, because most broody hens, they will pull out their feathers on the underside of their belly, and I just don't want this ice pack to be directly touching her skin. And that's where it's gonna go. We're gonna place this ice pack in the nesting box that Miss Olive is in, with this cloth on top of it, put her on top of it, and then theoretically the ice pack is supposed to help break the broody habits. Okay, so I have my wrapped up ice pack here. Let's see if I'm able to do this one-handed. I don't think so. So I'll set it up. I should probably stand out. And then I'm gonna slide this right underneath her. Okay, so now she's sitting on that covered ice pack. So here it is an hour later, and lo and behold, she is really not minding the fact that she's sitting on an ice pack. So far this isn't really working out.
So here we are Checking up in the afternoon a few hours later, and the partridge cochin Lilac has successfully gotten her babies outside. And I just checked on Olive the Well Summer, and she is still broody at this point, but I'll go ahead and check back on her in just a few hours. So the ice pack trick actually worked. Just had to wait several hours. It's almost sundown here. And here's our well summer right here, hanging out with the rest of the flock, enjoying some of the evening summer sun, and very much not broody. All's well that ends well. We ended up with 8 more chicks for our hobby farm, who are all still doing very well. We learned that our well summer probably would not make it as a mama hen, so the next time she shows any sign of broodiness, we'll remember that ice pack trick. I hope you enjoyed our video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Say Why Chicken Thigh.